Hi, I'm Carolyn Evans-Hammond, and welcome to my tasting room. Carolyn's tasting room is where you can taste exciting wines with me. And tonight, we feature affordable wines for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and beyond. It's an exciting lineup, so let's dive in. The wines include the non-vintage Foss Marai Extra Dry Prosecco from Italy, the non-vintage Colio Extra Dry White Wine in 4-liter bag and box, the 2022 Mezzacorona Pinot Grigio from Italy, and the 2021 Carmen Gran Reserva Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile. Let's taste. So the first wine in our flight is sparkling because New Year's Eve is coming up and we need a bottle of bubbly, but maybe you don't want to spend a fortune. Maybe you don't quite want to splash out, upwards of $100 on a bottle of champagne. So this wine is a good choice. It's about $20 in Canada and about $15 in the US, and I think it's lovely. So it's a Foss Marai Prosecco. It's an extra dry, so it means it's got between 12 and 17 grams per liter of sugar. This actually has 13 grams per liter, so it's on the drier end of that spectrum. So pour yourself a glass and let's taste. First, take a look. Now, what I love here is the persistence of the bubbles and the size of the bubbles. Prosecco's made tank method, so it can have larger bubbles. It's just not made second fermentation in bottle, but that's not so here. The bubbles are tiny, they bead up in a nice persistent stream, and they foam they form a bit of a crown on the side of the glass, which is exactly what you want. It means it's probably going to contribute a bit of a creamy mouthfeel. So on the nose, clean and fresh. Do you notice that? Love that. Yes, it smells like pear. That's what I always get from Glera, and Glera is a grape variety that is Prosecco. Beautiful, clear, fresh, maybe a hint of lemon zest going on too, and a light scoring maybe of minerality. You get that sort of wet stoniness. So nice. And on the palate, bright, clean, refreshing, juicy, and vinous too. Do you notice how the immediate flavor is absolutely pure, freshly sliced pear? And there's a sweetness there, but that sweetness, do you notice how well offset it is by bright, mouth-watering acidity? That balance is really important because it makes sure that the wine doesn't cloy or taste too sweet. It's just lip smacking, really. It's a kind of wine that's fantastic with just a handful of nuts to get that fruit and nut thing going on beautifully, or any salty snack, really. So chips, yes, nuts, yes, but you could also, serve it with something like deep fried prawns or poached prawns, and it would just work marvelously. The flavors are, they're not too forward, they're still nice and restrained, and yet pure. So the hallmark of this wine is wonderful purity of fruit. It does linger longer than many Proseccos, which I also like, and it's a wine I think you can count on for New Year's Eve. And the second one in our flight is Colio Estate Bag and Box. It's the extra dry white wine, and it's an international blend of imported and domestic wine. So it's not fancy, it is non-vintage dated, but it is affordable at $42 per 4 liters, which means it's less than $10 a bottle. So pour yourself a glass and let's take a look. First, it's clear and bright, which suggests stability. It's a nice clear color, it's bright, it's pretty in the glass, and on the nose, clean fruit. Not a lot of complexity here, but we're not looking for that. We're looking for purity. So apple, maybe sliced green apple. A touch of lemon lime, a little bit like lemon lime sorbet. Maybe even a touch of pineapple. So let's have a taste. Silky smooth, beams in, floods out, light, lifted, dry, balanced. This is bone dry at only around 3 grams per liter, and it's light and lively. I know the body is very light, and it's 12.5% alcohol. So it's also, you know, light, lifted, and easy to enjoy glass after glass. This is not a fancy wine, but it doesn't need to be. It needs to be clean, it needs to be pure fruited, and it needs to be tasty. And this is all of those things. It's refreshing, it's clean, it's easy, and it's affordable. It's even more affordable when you think about the fact that this will last about 6 weeks in your fridge, because, you know, the way it works is there's a bladder inside. So when you dispense wine from the spout, the bladder inside collapses in on itself and no air enters. And so voila, the wine remains fresh. The other thing about this is, you know, it's handy. The size, you know, it's a box. It's easy to store. And so you can enjoy it. Somebody might come by and have a glass of wine, and you don't have to worry about opening a whole bottle. You'll have this on hand for 6 weeks, and it's always ready to enjoy. It's a kind of wine you can also serve with all sorts of finger foods. So, you know, salted potato chips, yes. Popcorn, yes. Cheese, absolutely. It's easy, it's affordable, it's a wine for the times. The third wine in our flight is a reliable Pinot Grigio. Now, Pinot Grigio is a wine that so many people enjoy because it's breezy, it's easy, it's light, it's dry, it's quenching. It's all of those things, and it's affordable. Now, this is a reliable expression. It's by Mezzacorona. It's from the Veneto region of Italy. That's a DOC, so quality wine, and it sells for around $17 in Canada and just shy of $15 in the US. So pour yourself a glass and let's taste. You'll notice the color first. Now, what I love about this is not only it's clear and bright, but it's got these lovely silvery inflections. Do you notice that? I really like that. I think it's pretty. And on the nose. Now, this is always consistent. This is a very consistent wine, and it always smells to me like lime, salt, and stones. Are you getting that? So first you get the lime, sort of a bitter lime, as well as lime squirt, and then underpinning that is sort of a wet stoniness and a salinity. Lends a bit of gravitas. I like that. And on the palate, isn't that lovely? Streams in like sunshine or wind or something like that. Just breezy, easy, and pure. It's also, you know, it seasons the palate. Right now it's still on the palate. There's quite a length going on and a little bit of chalkiness texturally on the finish too, which is nice because the palate is left seasoned and ready to enjoy whatever you're going to have with it. Everything we found on the nose is echoing on the palate. Absolutely lime, yes. And on the finish is where you're noticing, do you notice the wet stones and the hint of brininess? Lovely. So a nice, clean, pure wine that's perfect for everything you want to, you know, enjoy with it food-wise. And it's perfect for holiday open houses. Many of us have an open house on New Year's Day or are invited to one, and this is a great wine for that. And the last wine in our flight is a big, bold red that I just love. This is the 2021 Carmen Gran Reserva Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a single vineyard wine, and it's Dio Maipo from Chile. So pour yourself a glass, immediately notice the color, just how, you know, how deep that color is and how concentrated. Because if you look, you know, the opaque color carries on right to the rim of the glass, which shows you just how much concentration is in this glass. Give it a swirl with me and let's sniff. That can't be anything other than Cabernet because it just smells like cassis, like that black currant liqueur that you always get with a good Cabernet. Just beautiful. Almost, you know, it's almost sinuous. That aroma smells so heavy and deep, but ripe too. Do you notice that? And beneath that, if you spend some time with this, you'll notice a lot of other things going on. Sort of Christmas cake or fruit cake, dates maybe, dried plum, crushed nuts, tobacco, like toasted tobacco. So lots going on, and that's because, yes, Cabernet Sauvignon can be complex, and this has a couple of years on it, so it's going to gain a little bit of that, but it's also spent some time in French oak, so that's going to be imparting some of those nuances. So let's have a taste. Streams in, weighty, but lush. The texture, if you notice, is sort of a cross between velvet and cashmere. Wonderful crush of sun-drenched fruit. Yet there's structure. There's acidity holding up that fruit, keeping it lifted and refreshing, and the palate is scraped clean. Now this is 13.5% alcohol, so it's sort of medium to full-bodied, but it's also bone dry. So there's no residual sugar. It's to the tune of 2 or 3 grams per liter, which is really nothing. And if you notice, just on the tip of the tongue, which is the best place to detect sweetness, you'll notice that it's dry. So let's have another sip and see what it's saying to us. Beautiful. Yes, there's a cassis, but there's also blackberry and fresh blackcurrant. And as that recedes, the savory nuances come through. Do you notice that? Sort of tobacco and a bit of dark chocolate maybe, a hint of espresso bean perhaps, a bit of mushroom, and on the tail end where it is now, do you notice a little bit of white pepper? Maybe a hint of olive too, sort of like sucking on an olive pit. Lovely, and it goes on and on. So great value for money. This is a wine that, it sells for around less than 20 in Canada, and I think less than 18 in the US. So it's good value for sure. And it's a kind of wine you can pour with confidence, yes, on New Year's Day, but you could, at a feast or something like that with prime rib. But you could also serve it, all through January with braised meats as the weather gets cold, or a nibble of cheese by the fire. And that is what I wanted to talk about. So there you have it, 4 affordable wines that will totally set you up for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and beyond. Which one did you like best? Let me know on social, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm coming right back with another flight of delicious wines here on Carolyn's Tasting Room, so you can drink better and learn how.